Good very early morning and welcome to Melbourne. I'm on my way to Tullamarine Airport just to the north of the city centre. This review was meant to be the first of a 3-part mini-series comparing the domestic business class products of Virgin Australia, Qantas and Rex. But then Qantas downgraded me and Rex went out of business. So yeah, standalone review it is. But I do think this opens the door to talk a lot about the Australian aviation market in all of these Australian videos. Because someone being downgraded by Qantas and an airline in Australia going out of business, well, that's pretty much a basic Tuesday. Well, this has turned out to be a less than uplifting vibe. So Virgin Australia operates out of Terminal 3 here in Melbourne for a majority domestic operation, with the exceptions of Bali, Fiji, and Queenstown. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Kevin, the Flip-Flop Traveler. If I want you to know one thing, it's that the opinions in my videos are honest and only my own. If you'd like to know more about what, how, and why I do what I do, scan the QR code to read more. Have a look around the channel. There are hundreds of flights and hotel reviews to watch. This trip to Brisbane starts right now. Check-in procedures here, and throughout most of Australia, for domestic flights at least, are an automated process. And considering that there's no ID checks for domestic flights, it's giving me a very Japanese domestic flying vibe. But not really. After check-in, you're going to head towards the Terminal 3 and 4 gates, through a beautiful and quite familiar art corridor along the way. My choice to fly Virgin on this specific route was mostly because of trying to piece together reasonable fares and routes on Qantas. In my experience at least, the easiest way to know what Qantas's price is for a business class ticket will be to take the price at Virgin and double it. Unless of course you're flying to the long-lost city of Perth, in that case, triple it. Once through security, I was in the middle of what was a pretty quiet terminal at this time of the morning, so let's head to the actually very impressive lounge. The friendly lounge attendant scanned my boarding pass and asked if I was heading to Vegas. It was at this moment that she realized I was not Australian and had absolutely no idea what she was talking about. The lounge is huge. When you enter it, I'd advise you just to keep walking. Just keep going, since most people don't. It may look crowded near the door, but go 100 meters in, and you'll have the entire area to yourself, hopefully. The food on offer was basic, but the coffee was really good. As we have a look around and then head to the gate after that, let's talk a little bit about Virgin. So, we all know Virgin. Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Records, Virgin Voyages, Virgin America, may she rest in peace. It's all the same umbrella branding, but it is just that, branding. Richard Branson isn't the one actually pulling the strings down here, not anymore at least. Starting out as Virgin Blue in 2000, their domestic operation had a sudden boost in 2001 when Ansett Australia collapsed. Suddenly, Virgin was catapulted into being a major domestic carrier. In 2008, they created V Australia, which was an arm just for long-haul flights flying to the US, limited to 10 flights per week by the government. While they started out as a low-cost airline, they realigned their strategy in 2011 and rebranded as Virgin Australia. At the same time, they folded V Australia into the larger brand. They weren't exactly the most successful airline on earth, but things were going as they were going, and then COVID hit. The Australian government closed the borders, and then individual states also closed their borders. Early on, the government was supporting the airlines by waiving excise tax and the government charges. Problem is, that's only actual support if you're flying. Virgin Australia requested a bailout from the government in the amount of $1.4 billion. This was denied. At the time, good old Qantas was publicly declaring that they shouldn't get a dime because it should be the survival of the fittest. Soon after, Virgin declared bankruptcy. Wouldn't you know it, throughout COVID, Qantas ended up receiving $2.7 billion in aid from the same government. They must have been quite fit after that. This is obviously a bigger conversation than this one video, but I do think there's something to be said that the government's neglect, let's just call it neglect, of Virgin Australia during COVID, might actually be the thing that ends up challenging Qantas the most in the future. Within a year, Virgin and all that came with it were purchased by Bain Capital. Long-haul flying was axed, and they re-emerged as a mid-market hybrid airline. When flying in, to, and from Australia, there is one phrase that repeats through my mind 19 times per minute. Quote, "They need another alliance." What's one reason Qantas can charge whatever they want to charge? One reason many of their passengers are loyal to a fault? If you travel a lot, there's no other option. Qantas is the only carrier which is part of an alliance. Australians fly internationally disproportionately more than many other Western countries. So if you want any sort of international benefits, connectivity, or alliance perks, Qantas is your ride or die. For years, I'd been wishing that Virgin would join one of the other alliances, doesn't matter which one, because it would be the first real challenge to Qantas in decades. One interesting update as of late, though, is that Qatar Airways has expressed an interest in buying 20% of Virgin Australia. Now, I'm not quite sure how this would work, since Qatar is in the same alliance as Qantas. But then again, Qantas has an alliance with Emirates, so perhaps Qatar is ready to come swinging and push Virgin into another alliance, while making their own codeshare agreements with them airtight. One can only hope. And if you're sitting there, rightfully wondering why I'm crapping on Qantas so much, I'll let you know about it in my 2 upcoming Qantas videos. Virgin currently has 91 aircraft in their fleet, all 737 family aircraft, with a further 32 on order, flying to 32 domestic and 6, soon to be 5 international destinations. Okay, let's get on board and see how hybrid this experience actually feels. As we head down the jet bridge, let's take a look at today's flight stats. The interior on board the 737-800 is as standard as could be, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It was comfortable. Business class has 2 rows for a total of 8 seats. These are more or less the same style seats that you'd find on any airline in domestic first in the US. Overall, the seat was in great condition, and I lucked out that there was no one next to me. Legroom, both knee and foot space, is more than adequate, and the seats themselves are deep, giving good thigh support, which I always appreciate, along with overhead air vents.
Good morning, welcome aboard Virgin Australia Flight V8.
If you enjoy content from Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji, check out my Oceania playlist linked above and in the description. There you'll find all of my flight and resort videos from the region. Non-alcoholic pre-departure drinks were passed out, and apparently I was more impressed with the napkin than the actual drink, which was sparkling water. And I kinda love how domestic Australian flights board via the front and the back stairs at the same time. It definitely speeds things up.
Can please assist us with an on-time departure by placing your luggage in the lockers above. Smaller items such as laptops.
Larger bags can go in the lockers, wheel first where possible.
We pushed back just about on time and got the show on the road. A manual safety demo was also performed since there are no seatback monitors. It was on autoplay. I was multitasking. I was feeding my dingo. These are all real reasons, kinda, why I often forget to click the like button on videos that I actually did appreciate watching. So anytime a video creator asks me to click the like button or subscribe, I do it. In that moment. Because if I don't, I promise you, I'm gonna forget. Grassroots support is what keeps channels going, much more so than any algorithm ever could. So if you enjoyed this video or any other video you watched today, please be sure to click all of the buttons, but just the good ones. My Patreon is also linked in the description below. Thanks very much. After a quick taxi, it's time for the spool up, takeoff, and of course airport stats, all coming up now. While there are no seatback monitors, there is Wi-Fi on board, which will allow you to access their in-flight entertainment system on your own personal device. Considering they have a mostly domestic network with most of their flights at or around 2 hours, I thought the selection was decent. And there was of course a great moving map as well. After admiring some of the beautiful and sparse land below, the meal service got into full swing. I started off with a black coffee, and for my main, had a cheese bagel with egg salad and chorizo. Sounded strange. By the time they got to me, this was the only option left. The other was scrambled eggs with potato and mushrooms. I probably would have chosen this one anyway. It's not quite the light and refreshing meal that I was expecting, but it was really tasty. The only actual problem was trying to cut the thing without being worried the table would break. It was served alongside a slice of banana bread. Bathrooms were basic but in good condition and clean. Service on board was far friendlier than I was expecting. Not that I thought that it would be bad, but it was just truly genuine and friendly. The server was serving the business class cabin, and had to have come around to check on drinks and such at least 5 times in the short hour-long service window. At some point, I think he actually did strike up an individual conversation with every passenger on board. Truly top grades for that, some of the best service that I've ever had on a 2-hour flight. So now that Bonza has gone bankrupt, not that they were going to be a revolutionizing force in the industry, and also Rex is gone, mostly at least, the question is, who's left to be a stabilizing force in the market? Air North certainly won't be. Jetstar is owned by Qantas, and Virgin Australia is the last remaining option, whether you like it or not. On behalf of 89% of Australia, even the ones that won't admit it in the comments, I'd say we're all rooting for Virgin. I'll let you enjoy what was a gorgeous approach into Vegas. And that is that. Now I need to go outside to do a bit of stretching before round 1 with Qantas. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on my twice weekly content. I'll see you next time with the Angry Roo. Oh, and as always, thanks for watching until the end.